Hey folks, how's everyone doing today? Happy Sunday to you. Thanks for stopping back by Jesse's Occupational Awareness Show. Before we get into the content, I'll respond to a couple of comments that we've had on a few of the videos that I've had previously from it. A couple of the comments centered around an individual who is concerned about asthma and the gas exposure. I can't really say what kind of effects asthma and gas are going to have. I don't think that they're a very good combination. I could be wrong. I don't have asthma myself. I'd like to think that it's not really going to affect you. Best course of action for that, consult a physician. It may be pricey, expensive. I don't know what your setup is. But if you have any kind of concerns surrounding something like that, definitely talk to a physician. And that goes with anybody. Anybody that's thinking about getting into this industry or is in this industry, please do regular checkups with your physician, primary care manager, primary care physician, doctor, whichever one you call it. It's good to have all of this checked on and updated. In a couple of videos ago, there was an individual that works for TDCJ who wasn't exactly happy, actually seemed pretty perturbed that I'm putting a lot of this information, quote, out on the streets. My response to that is that none of the information that I'm talking about is privileged or sensitive or secret, and it's not something you can't learn in any kind of a corrections officer's book, a guard book. TDCJ, we're not called guards. I say we, I earned that title, even though I'm not currently employed. They're called corrections officers. You're not called guards. However, other videos, other states, other industries, books, that's what they're going to be referred to as. The terms that I'm using and the content that I'm talking about and putting out, it can be searched, it can be looked for. You can go to the academy for a couple of weeks, quit at your fourth week, and still learn what I'm putting out here. These are my opinions, they're for entertainment. However, thank you for watching the content. I really appreciate you. Check out the rest of the videos. Thanks for all that you do and what you do. What was the other one? There was one more. I had an individual ask about being a veteran, pay, promotion. The two have nothing to do with each other. None whatsoever. Back in the day, there was CO1, CO2, CO3, 4 and 5. A veteran or somebody that had a college degree could come in at CO3. That's not a thing anymore. Thanks to Ash Emmy. Really appreciate you. Shout out to you. Enjoy the content. Everyone starts at the base CO3 level right now. So I don't think that there's any real benefit to being a veteran or somebody that has military experience hiring on with the industry. You might learn some life experiences, but again, everybody's experiences are going to be different. Veteran is just a blanket term. There's combat veterans, there's support, there's where I am right now, Coast Guard. Coast Guard falls in its own separate category. We're Department of Homeland Security. So, being a veteran and hiring on with TDCJ, it's not really going to have much effect on anything. As far as pay, benefits, there's some things you could talk about with human resources, but at the gate, starting off, no, it's not necessarily going to give you a leg up. If you made it this far, now we're going to get into the content that I wanted to put out for this video. I just wanted to rant a little bit on that and put some of the stuff out. We want to talk about today the different types of COs, different types of corrections officers that are likely to be roaming the halls of all the different units. These aren't ranked in any kind of order. There's no bad, no worse. Somebody may fit into one category, they may fit into the next one the next day. These are the ones that I saw, and these are the ones that you can certainly expect to be working in those areas. Coming in at number one, the guardian. The guardian is the guy or gal, interchangeably, male, female, does not matter. This is the individual who's there to protect and serve. They hired on with the intent that they were going to make a difference. They were going to be the ones who were going to keep these guys locked down, maintain order, no escapes, nothing's getting by on their watch. They're there to write any kind of paperwork, any kind of case, anything whatsoever. Nothing is getting by them on their watch. When they take over the dorm, the pod, the cell, the building, whatever it is, they're all business. They're all about the job. Good thing about an individual like that, you can rely on that individual. They're going to do their job. They're going to do their stand-up part. They mean business. The con to that individual typically gets singled out quickly by the inmates, by the offenders, and by other COs. They might hear things such as, hey, slow your roll. Hey, pump your brakes. Hey, why are you taking this so seriously? This ain't supposed to be taken so seriously. Unfortunately, from what I saw, they may not receive a lot of support from their coworkers and from the inmates. Why do you need support from inmates? They can tend to make or break your day. If you got a whole building that's just ready to destroy everything and tear it down, or if you got a building that they're doing what you say, they're not going over the lines, they're just going through the day, it can make it pleasant. The guardian, this individual, typically is not well liked by the other individuals. If they're staunch and steadfast, they can make it through. Unfortunately, that kind of position, it can lead to burnout, and that's what I saw happen to a lot of those individuals. So, take it with what you got. Coming in at number 2, the single parent. Now, I'm not knocking parents in the least bit. I'm not a father myself. I fathered multiple different kinds of animals. I am married. I don't have children. However, this job attracts a lot of single parents because of the benefits, because of the steady pay, and individuals on the outside looking in that aren't exposed. I'm hoping these videos help out with that. They're not exposed to what goes on inside the walls. It seems like a pretty steady, stable career. And yes, it can be for the right individual. So the single parent, they hire on, they go through the academy, and their main purpose, their sole reason for being there, while commendable, is taking care of their family. They care about the benefits, the pay. It tends to stop there. They'll let infractions go by, rules bended here and there, might even traffic a little bit. I'm probably going to get some heat on this. I accept that. This is simply what I saw. Their sole intent for having this job is not to be the best corrections officer they can be. It is to support, take care of, and protect their family. And how they do that is going to be how they do it. Some could fall into that guardian role, and they're going to follow every rule and do what they're supposed to do. Some, they may not care so much about what goes on around them. I see it. It happens. Silence is acceptance. Not going to say anything about it. Not going to do anything about it. As long as they're collecting their paycheck, getting their benefits, and going home, they're fine. Not knocking that in the least bit. It's just a lot of things that I saw. Coming in on it at number 3, the I hate my life CO. This is the individual that pulls up in a vehicle. When they stop, the battery goes dead, the tire goes flat, they open the door falls halfway off of its hinges, they get out, shut that door, kinda, shirt's not buttoned up properly, it's crooked, name tag, if they're wearing it, is either crooked or it's upside down or it's not even there at all. They go in to get patted down, they don't even have their ID on them. They got to turn around, go back to that busted up vehicle, get their ID, come back in, get to turnout, get assigned to where they're supposed to be, and start working the job. Nothing is their fault. Everything is all about the system. Everything's out to get them. The government is spying on them. It's doing everything it can to hold them down. The weather is just not working out for them. Bills are piling up. Every industry has this kind of individual. TDCJ is absolutely no secret. The only benefit to having this individual coming in is that there's an extra individual on shift. That's it. The downfall to it, they have an extremely toxic personality. It spreads around. They're negative toward everything. They could actually cause something bad to go on. Inmates may dislike this individual, and when they see this individual, they're liable to erupt and go off just on sight of this individual. What's even worse, if they're assigned to work with a partner and something goes on with that partner, this individual is likely the last one who's going to provide any kind of assistance short of calling for help. When a fight breaks out with an inmate to a CO or inmate to inmate, the worst thing that can be done is no decision made whatsoever. Just standing there, unable to act. Some kind of action needs to be taken. One of my previous videos about my first use of force, I talked about how I Superman dove on top of the inmate and the captain that were in the fight. Not proud of it, but I made a decision. I went with it from there. This individual, they're going to do nothing, and someone's probably going to get hurt from it, and they just find a way to go on through the system. You don't want to be the one that just absolutely hates life, but they're there. Coming in at number 4, the I'm so over this. This is the individual corrections officer who's worked in the system for so long. They know everything. They done been there. They done seen that. They know every single policy. The shout out to this officer, thank you for the time that you put in. Appreciate that. Commendable to what you've been able to sit through and endure. They'll know every policy. They'll know what's supposed to be done. But they've been through it for so long, they're not doing anything about anything that they're seeing. When a case needs to be written, they're not writing it. Oh no, that's fine. Those guys do that all the time. They'll be all right. Or when they come time to write a case, they've got so much confidence in it, they write it improperly or incorrectly, and it ends up not getting filed to begin with. And then the inmates and the offenders are all laughing and joking about it. And this CO, because they've done been through and seen it all and dealt with all of it, they don't care. They'll get them at another time. You can learn from this individual. You can learn a lot from this individual on the good and the bad side. You can learn about policy, procedure, and by their unwillingness to actually do the job, you can learn what you don't want to do from that. So, I can't say too much about them. They're veterans. They put their time in. I respect you. Shout out. Just don't get so burned out that you're not doing the job on it. Last but not least, coming in, the reliable. This is the individual that hired on. They were ready to do the job. They had a plan set forth in their head. Either A, they wanted to climb the ranks. This is the individual that wanted to be a lieutenant, wanted to be a sergeant, captain, the warden. They want to take over one of the facilities, make it their own, and control for it. This is the individual, I call it the honeymoon phase. Everything's new, everything's fresh. Every day is a surprise in a good way. They come to work, they're looking sharp, they're ready to go. They're going to write cases as they need to. If it doesn't need to be written, they're not going to write it. They'll counsel offenders that need. They're going to work good with the partner. If something bad happens, they'll work through it. Something good happens, they don't need all the glory put on them. Coming to work is just enough for that. You get paid every month. You get your benefits coming through. If you get a good shout out, you get a good shout out. This is the individual that, if you don't fall into a few of the categories that I mentioned, that you want to work with. Rookies will tend to gather to these individuals. They want to learn from them. They want to be like that individual. The hard thing with it is, how do you maintain that? How do they come to work every day in such a good mood, ready to go, ready to do the job? They're not burned out. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that. I started off as that individual. I wanted to be that hardcore sergeant. I wanted the chevrons on my sleeves. I wanted them on my collars. I wanted to walk into the pod, look around. There he is, and it all takes over from there. That didn't happen. It just is what it is. We'll get into that as it goes way on down from there. I started off as Mr. Reliable, and it didn't pan out from that. For the individuals that are able to maintain that, good on you. These are the ones that stand the watch. They do what they're supposed to do. They're there currently working. They're keeping the guys where they're supposed to be, and they're keeping the day-to-day operations going on. I can't give you enough shout out for that. Folks, I really appreciate you checking out the content. Shout out to everybody who does watch. Shout out to all my subscribers. If you liked what you saw, let me know. If you didn't like what you saw, let me know. Give me a chance to respond to it. Those who are waiting to go to the academy, good luck to you. Those who are in the academy, those who are graduating, moving on to stand that watch, shout out to you. Good luck. Hope you have a great time. Texas needs you. The units need you. Stick with it. Stand by for a lot more content, folks. I hadn't even scratched the surface of everything that I have to talk about. I'll try and put these out as much as I can. Everyone take care. Be safe. Appreciate every one of you.